10-minute open qualifying started, everyone went out right away, trying to post a good time. Many of them did in the opening laps, some of them did later on in the session, but there were fast times all through the session. Starting off in the qualifying, it was Sasha Lem with the 81 car who put up a fast time in the beginning. Put up a time of 39.985 and was in the lead for a couple of laps. In this qualifying session, many drivers had some incidents, so not everyone could post a very good lap, but it was Nikolai Ladushkin with the car number 212 who posted the second best time of this qualifying session. He did that in his fifth lap and he posted a time of 39.979, just a bit better than Lamp. But in the end of qualifying, it was Dave Price who posted the pole position lap. He drives the car number 69 and he drove a lap time of 39.976, which was just 300ths of a second faster than Nikolai in second. But Dave Price got the pole position. We rounded out the top 10 within 0.3 of a second, so very fast qualifying, very close racing. They got ready for race 1. 16 cars made it to the grid, with drivers coming from all over the world, from more than 10 countries even. It was Dave Price who led the way at the start. Turn 1, the 81 of Lamp had a look on the 212 of Nikolai Ladushkin. They touched and the 212 got pushed wide. Everyone checked up and the 24 of Fuchs got spun around. Further in the field we had the 67 of Verstraete and the 66 of Kildewald racing side by side until Verstraete got hit, they got together and that was pretty much the start of a very bad race for him. Further that lap, the 50 of Sheen went into the grass on the jump, he got collected by the 14 of Warmingham, causing damage for the both of them. This would be the start of a very eventful race, as in the beginning we had a good battle between the 10 of Marshall and the 69 of Price, until Price went off on his own while in the lead into turn 1. Championship leader Nikolai Ladushkin in the 212 had a difficult beginning with problems at the start, and in lap 5 he went off on his own. He made a mistake which forced him to pit early. There were more problems at the front as the 81 of Lamp went wide into turn 1 while being in second position, costing him a lot of places. Price did not enjoy his pole position for very long as he had a big crash at the jump, damaging his car badly and forcing him out of the point. The man on the move was the 24 of Fuchs. After being spun around at the start, he made some beautiful passes through the field. As we said in the beginning, it would not be a good race for Verstraeten. He had a couple of moments into turn 1, as well as a crash later on this race at the jump. As Beckhouse in the 4th and Lamp in the 81 are battling it out for 3rd place, they went off simultaneously into turn 1, causing them to lose a lot of time and letting the 24 of Fuchs catch up. Also, organizer Ryan had a big moment at the jump. He went off together with Verstraete. There were more problems in the background. The 14 of Warmingham went off on his own after the crash in the beginning, and his companion, the 15 of Sheen, did the same, causing them to drop even further back. problems were not over for 81. He had a big crash in lap 16, which caused him to drop out of the podium battle. And problems were not over. The 29 of Elijah Bautista had some problems along the way, causing him to drop out of the top 10. Pit stops came up. The first car to enter the pit was the leader, the number 10 of Romain Marchal. He took his pit stop early. He would be followed in the same lap by the 24 of Christophe Fuchs, which caused them both to lose some places while the others continued. One lap later, the current leader, Matt Fretwell, in the number 97, came into the pit lane. He would lose his lead again to Romain, but he would stay in second after the pit stop. He would be followed with the 4 car of Mark Beckhouse, which would lose his third place to Christopher Fuchs. Another big crash coming. This time the victim was the number 7 of Martin Brandon, who damaged his car back. Near the end of the race, the 97 of Fretwell had a problem when passing a lapped car. He would give up his second place to the 24 of Fuchs. He came on track just before the 4th place guy, Mark Beckhouse, and they would battle it out for a couple of laps. This battle lasted a couple of laps until the 4 of Beckhouse ran into problems with the lapped car himself. He got pushed wide in turn 1, losing the field with the number 97. So at the end of this eventful race, it was the number 10 of Romain Marchal who took the lead, with 16 cars finishing this race, with only 5 cars being in the lead lap. Proves it was a very eventful race for the most of us. To round up race 1, we had the number 10 car of Romain Marchal from Belgium finishing in the first place. Second place we had the 24 of Christophe Fuchs after coming from the back while spinning in the first lap. So he made some good passes along the way, got lucky with other crashes. And third place there was for the unlucky number 97 Matt Fretwell, who gave away a second place at the end. As we got ready for race 2, there were 15 cars on the grid, because Dwayne Benzinger was supposed to start in second place, decided to go and start from pit lane. So it was Warmingham in the 14 who got the pack underway, followed by Verstraeten in the 67 and Sheen in the 12th. They would battle it out for second place into turn 1, with Verstraeten on the outside, Sheen on the inside, but at the end it was Verstraeten who took the second place with Sheen in third. Behind them there were some problems in turn 1, so let's look at it again. It's Ryan Hellier in the 27 trying to go for the inside pass. He touches some guys and causes some guys to spin out, so big trouble in the beginning. The biggest victim are the 66 of Gildevald, the 29 of Bautista, the 27 of Hellier, the 13 of Martin Brandon, and also Nikolai Ladushkin in the 212 went off on his own at the start. Running into lap 1, it was the 5 of Jake Conway getting spun around. The battle for second ended as she got it wrong at the jump and he crashed out. Conditions for race 2 were difficult, as it shows as the 29 of Bautista spins out coming out of the pit lane on his cold tires, and also Jake Conway spins out on itself. He will do that a couple of times during this race along with some other drivers. Championship leader Ladushkin tried to come forward in the beginning, but he pushed it a little bit too hard, went off in turn 1 and hit the wall, causing him to drop to the pit lane as soon as possible. The battle for the lead went on between the 14 of Warmingham, the 67 of Verstraeten and the 69 of Price as they came up on a large group of lapped cars coming out of pit lane. Some of them went off track, some of them stayed in front of the leaders, which caused them all to bunch up and watch what happens next. Jump to 13 of Martin Brandon got it wrong, he takes out the leader and the third place guy, and a whole lot of other guys coming behind them. They all get collected in the crash, so the only ones who made it through safely were Verstraeten and Fuchs. Race 1 winner Romain Marchal would not be so lucky in race 2. He spins out in the beginning and he would make out a couple of mistakes during the race, which will cause him not to finish in the top 5 in race 2. Number 97, Matt Fretwell, kept going on with some damage for a couple of laps, but when he got to the pit lane he made a little mistake which caused him to lose a bit of time. And there were more mistakes made. Dave Price goes off, he would finish in 8th. Also the number 29 of Elijah Batista would go off a couple of times, causing him to drop all the way to the back. 13 laps into the race, Fuchs has closed the gap on Verstraeten for P1. He makes an easy pass and would not give up the lead anymore during this race. After the problems in the beginning of the race, some guys tried to push it a little bit too hard as here Beckhouse goes off in turn 1. There were also problems at the front of the field. Verstraeten, driving in P2, goes also off at turn 1. He would go on and pit later that lap, as he is the first in the top 3 to get his pit stop in. He had a good pit stop this race after a stop and go penalty for speeding in race 1, but then this happens when coming out of the pits on cold tire. Spins the tires, gets in the grass and spun around. This will cost him not even second place but also third. Christoph Fuchs, being far ahead of the field at that point in the 24 car, decides to make his pit stop, but he will stay in the lead even after his stop. After the pit stop, it's the 82 of Sasha Lamb who's in second place, but he goes off at turn 1, giving second place to Nikolai Ladushkin in the 212. This would be the start of a lot of problems for Lamb. Just a couple of laps later, Jake Conway spins off. He gets the car going fast again, but Sasha Lamb is coming up behind him, and in the midst of the confusion he tries the wrong way. He goes off, which lost him the connection to Ladushkin P2 and brings him back under pressure for P3 as Verstraeten closes to within 3 seconds. Brandon in the 13 car had a couple of mistakes this race. He finishes in 10th place. As the trouble for the 81 of Lamp were not over, he crashes out in the last turn. While still being in 3rd, he would finish in 12th. There was a big battle for 6th place between Marchal and Fretwell, which caused them to crash out, but they would continue on and finish in 6th place for Fretwell and 7th place for Marchal. The 14 of Warmingham, who was leading this race in the beginning, he made a couple of mistakes which caused him to drop back to 11th place at the end. In the last minutes of this race there was a battle for 4th place, with Mark and Ryan battling it out. It was Mark who will get 4th, Ryan will finish in 5th. At the end of another eventful race, there were 12 cars that finished this race too, with only 4 cars being on the lead lap, so a lot of guys crashed out. There were pretty fast times driven in this race, with Romain Marchal posting the fastest time of 39.139, very fast lap indeed, so congrats to him for the bonus point. The winner of race 2 was the 2nd place guy from race 1, the 24 of Christoph Fuchs. He had a very good weekend. 2nd place was the 212 of Ladushkin, the championship leader, got some good points. And in 3rd place, the first points for Jelle Verstraete, who made a good race 2 after a very bad race 1.